Hey guys and gals, Nary here from Drakewing Games, 70 Mounts Twitter, the Gaming Dragon. Today I'm coming back at you another Let's Play episode of Moonlight Castle, Dylan's Path. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump right back in, shall we? Alarm chain, you were up, and let's go. Alrighty. It's between you and him, but I'm glad you're not letting him off the hook so easily. And if you notice a kind of an oddness to my performance, it's because I am super fucking high right now, so yeah, that's why. I felt really happy. Yeah, no fucking kidding. I didn't understand why I felt this way, but I wanted to cry when he said that to me. I'll try to do what I feel is right. Great. Enough of this because your face looks ready to... Enough of this because your face looks like it's ready to shed tears. I guess I did get a little emotional there. Fuck Dylan for ruining it. He could have spared me that one extra comment. Now it's my turn to come clean. Yeah. He got up and turned his back on me, while eyeing the window. This happened when Mark and I were still living in the slums. It was one of the hardest periods of our lives. Our gang recently fell apart. We were alone without money to stay afloat. I was desperate. Everyone was counting on me and I couldn't let them down. I called Liam and asked for a job. Something good. Anything would have worked. I was turned down. The organization wasn't looking for more victims, especially not random garbage. Living in the slums was tough. I went many days without food. I preferred to give it to my gang first. It took some time, but he dropped me something interesting. Something that would benefit us both. You know about Claude Devon, right? He's the one in charge of the slums. That must have been what Liam asked to him. Also, have I heard that surname somewhere before? It sounded familiar. Obviously knew that man. I lived there. Why don't you rob his house? Take anything you want. Sell it back for some easy cash. Yeah, Dylan was trying to replicate the discussion they were having. I was aware of his house. Everyone was. If you live in the slums, you would always end up asking yourself if you can steal from him. The answer is no. You can't steal from the rich. You'll die trying. He said, I can provide you with a route. I'll give you the layout, where the alarms are, how to avoid security, basically all the tools for a perfect burglary. I was tempted, but mostly desperate. I wondered what he could possibly be gaining from this. We didn't get along with Clyde at all. We struggled to do our jobs because he's in the way. He always wanted to make everything about himself, charging taxes and taking advantage of the lower class. We all hated him, so the idea of teaching him a lesson was tempting. He reminded me why one person should never have so much power and authority. I asked Liam whether I would be able to keep everything. Then we agreed on the deal. It sounds fishy as hell. I thought Liam was going to buy them off me and use them against Claude for some unknown reason I wasn't aware of. Either that or he'd snitch on me. Both were plausible options. That's terrible. I didn't have the luxury to choose. I took Mark with me and entered his mansion. Everything went according to Liam's plan until Claude himself showed up. He wasn't supposed to be there. I'd been studying his habits and patterns. I'm thinking now, water time. Oh, wow. Yeah. Oh, God, yeah, there we go. Oh, I needed that water. Almost bone dry over here. He wasn't supposed to be there. I've been studying his habits and patterns. Something happened. Maybe a third party intervened, but we had to keep going. Mark got greedy for extra loot and was caught by Claude in the act. Claude was armed. That cemented the fact that he suspected someone would show up that day. I had to decide between abandoning my brother and watching him get shot or killing Claude myself. You know the answer to that. I could see that burden now. The weight he carried, the pain he felt, that unjust world he was being subjected to. Killing was wrong, but if every other option failed and the world wanted him dead, what else could he have done? He assumed Mark was alone and lowered his guard, allowing me to strike. A single knife thrown in the back of his skull. We left the body there and cleaned up. He dug through his pockets and showed me exactly what he used that night. We couldn't leave anything that was going to link us to the murder. I had guessed that he was still carrying it. The safest thing to do was to hold it instead of ditching it somewhere. We had to give up on the loot. Liam took me in as a result, covered my tracks, and I've been working as his shadow ever since. Holy shit! I was speechless. I know I wasn't prepared for this, but this was so much worse than I thought. Dylan stood up and faced me, completely unfazed, like he had shared something of importance. I'm going now. He walked toward the door. Wait! He stopped, his face tilted back to me. I told you everything. That's fine. I wasn't going to ask for more. I've got things to do before the exploration. Mark's waiting for me. I see. Later, then. I watched him leave, feeling like I was supposed to say something, but no word would actually come out. My first reaction was to console him, but wasn't that wrong? That'd be like accepting that what he did was fine. I also knew he wouldn't accept that either. I wanted to give him a better answer. Something that actually mattered and not just paying lip service. I tried moving on from this by seeking a distraction on my phone and noticed a couple of texts left by Ryan. How are you doing? Feeling better now? You didn't look so good before, so I hope you've taken a nap or something. You spent time with Dylan, yeah? Have you two talked it out yet? You can't leave me in the dark. I'm expecting to hear everything, not a single detail missing. I also wanted to say sorry for not telling you those things sooner. I understand that you wanted to be more active in my life, just like I am with yours. So, I'll try to communicate more. Seems like my uncle needs help at his shop again. Ugh, terrible timing. Well, I guess you'll tell me everything later tonight. Take care. Reading through his messages cheered me up a little. It was exactly that warm feeling I was looking for right now. Oh man, I really need some water. What's in here? Water for me. 1 second now. Oh yes. The delicious life-giving water. Okay. I put my phone down to look at my assignments, but that wasn't something I wanted to deal with right now. I took shelter under my bedsheets and decided to take a power nap instead. I yawned, slowly woken up by the beeping of my phone. That fucking alarm. I hated it, but I relied on it. It was the same kind of relationship you'd see in high school. A typical straight couple breaking up only to get back together the next day. Again and again, I always questioned their sanity. I had enough time to take a shower and head out. It was getting late, and the moon slowly showed itself through my window. I enjoyed the view. Looking at it felt enchanting, calming my soul with its positive energy. Blake and I related on that matter, at least. Walking under the moonlight was nice. I found myself staring at the moon multiple times while walking down the road, listening to nature in the background through my headphones. It was crowded, so I'd hoped to see people heading to the same place as me, but instead they would stop at the sparkling cafe sitting on the main road, not bothering to get deeper inside and find the hidden gem waiting for them. Truly disappointing. They're missing out. I stood outside the cafe. Or was I able to distinguish some vague shapes, but their voices were drowned by the walls? I heard rustling from the side of the building, and upon closer inspection, I saw a shadow moving around the corner. Russell himself? Someone else working with him? I didn't care enough to investigate further and walked in. Russell's welcoming face was the first thing I saw, sweeping the floor near the entrance. Good evening. He raised his face to stare at me a little bit, then greeted me before I'd walk away. You look surprised to see me here. Ah, you noticed that. I assumed you were in the back. I sensed movement there. Russell grunted a bit as realization struck him, then dropped the broom he was holding and rushed inside. I see. So nobody was supposed to be there. At least that was how I read his reaction. I walked up to the counter to meet our friends and received weak greetings from them. Patrice and Blake were at the front, drinking a couple of beers and whispering to one another, trying to keep their conversation to themselves. Clyde was sitting alone, isolated from the rest, sulking in his seat and checking his phone. Ryan and Liam were missing. I didn't mind waiting a little more. It's just awkward to sit in this atmosphere. Dylan was the only one who looked normal to me. And he wasn't even normal to begin with. Dylan, hey, come here! I whispered to the crocodile, hoping to get some answers. I was trying to be tactful about it. I called again, my voice raised ever so slightly. That motherfucker was ignoring me on purpose, wasn't he? I saw his body reacting to his name being called, and he shifted away from me. He really was the best at getting on my nerves. Fine. No anger, only peaceful vibes. I was going to walk up to him if that was what he wanted from me. I know you heard me. His eyes moved in the opposite direction. I didn't. Then he groaned. Where the fuck is Ryan so I can ditch you on him? You don't really mean that. Dylan gave me the silent treatment. Just tell me about them. He looked at me, then to the others, then back to me. Ah, true. You missed it. Alrighty. Did something happen when I was gone? I couldn't imagine it being anything strong enough to damage their relationship like this. Tell me everything. More talking. Fuck that. He pushed himself backward to get some distance, and before I could stop him, he yelled, "Patrice, get your ass over here!" The entire room looked at us. Patrice was just stunned by that. Okay? He gave Blake a few more words and joined our table. Bro, what was that about? You know what I'm doing. Joel doesn't. And you couldn't tell him yourself? Still no answers. Forget it. Patrice glanced at me once, and seeing the mortified expression I was wearing the whole time, pitied me. You didn't ask him to do that, right? Of course not. Basically, the two had an argument over Liam. Blake wants him expelled for all the harmful pranks he's done, but Clyde believes in his innocence. Blake felt betrayed because he thinks one of those bad pranks is what scarred his eye. Liam was asked to find the real culprit or be expelled. Yep, that sums it all up. They called it the stray cat incident. Lame as fuck. So, he got scratched by a cat? How's that Liam's fault? I heard it was done on purpose, but I've got nothing else. Sorry. Nothing happened between Clyde and Blake that you don't already know about. They didn't talk it out yet, which was not a good sign. We should do something to improve the situation. Dylan chuckled, taking a swig at the beer he was holding. I'll pass. Why did I even ask? But I felt bad for leaving this thing in Patrice's hands. The entrance doors opened wide, and Ryan barged through. Russell and Liam were also there, but my attention was mostly on the bear. He greeted everyone like always. I raised my hand in response, not really feeling the speaking back because everyone was so quiet. I heard him grunting, disappointed by the scene he was witnessing, and greeted again. I chuckled at that. Ryan didn't know what happened either, but he was trying his best. I motioned for him to join us, and when he walked closer, I noticed a tissue plugged in one of his nostrils. That explained why his voice didn't sound right to me and why I laughed earlier. Did something happen? I pointed at it, and Ryan touched his nose, almost as if he had forgotten until now and promptly removed it. This? Got a nosebleed earlier. Don't worry about it. The bear seated himself exactly in the middle, connecting Dylan and I and Patrice and Blake. Look who decided to come after all. Ryan grabbed the tiger and dragged him closer. He was right. I didn't acknowledge that Patrice was the only one who had refused exploration. So why was he here now? My therapist thinks it's a good opportunity to test myself and see how far I've come. Blake opened his eyes, gave Patrice a quick glimpse, and chuckled. You didn't like his proposal. Is that why you're trying to get... Oh, Blake. You didn't like his proposal. Is that why you're trying to get yourself drunk? Dude, come on. You don't have to call me out like that. But, yeah, I'm hoping to freak out less this way. You have 7 people here you can depend on. No need to worry about being scared. I wish you were right. Yeah, let's say 5. You don't want to trust everyone. Bro, that's not what I meant. Ryan really brought the mood up. Blake started talking a little more, but Clyde still didn't really join the conversation. He did follow it silently, though. Alright, y'all, I'm actually gonna go ahead and pause it right there. Oh, I guess this has been another episode of Baked Wing Gaming. Oh god, I'm so high right now. Thank y'all so much for watching. I love you all, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye-bye!